Hey everybody, welcome to the September Patreon Q&A. Apologies, the Q&As are kind of a bit backwards and forwards. It's just we're very busy with a lot of things and trying to find time that we're both available to do things is short. And we are rushing a little bit now, so we're going to try and do this as quickly as we can. Alex Fitzpatrick, love the vids, keep up the good work. What are your and Reno's opinions on restricted street triple as a first A2 bike? Maybe one of the more expensive options, but yeah, a good bike that you could then de-restrict in the future. You know, the MT-07, the Street Triple, CBR 500, they're all yeah, they're all good bikes.
Daniel Boddington says, "Hey, Spicy and Reno, what's your favourite film?"
I haven't got a favourite film.
No, there's too many films I like that I could choose.
Favourite film? No, you'd have to genre that.
Yeah.
Even subcategory. No, I honestly couldn't give you one that's a real answer. Alan Urquhart, hope you and Reno are well. Awesome content recently. What is the best way to apply decals to a bike? Any tips or tricks? I'm getting the factory livery for my V-Strum and don't want to mess it up. Suzuki charge a bomb for these things. Yes, they do. Do look for third-party sellers though, because you can get them like knockoffs cheap. I don't know for what type of adhesive they use. There is a trick to putting stickers on, which is that you, obviously you want to make sure the surface is very clean and grease-free, and then you spray a spray of water that's got like 1 drop of soap in it, and it allows you to just press the sticker on and give it a bit of a move around, and then you squeegee out the water and it'll stick, and the adhesive isn't affected by the water and the soap, if it's the right type of adhesive. Because I don't know whether it is or it isn't, I don't want to say that, but when they are stuck down, I would say give them a warm with a hairdryer and smush them in and it'll help them adhere.
Keegan Versfeld says, "Not sure about any connections you have with businesses that let you review bikes, but the CB500X might be an interesting one to review. Seems to be quite a popular adventure tourer for a good price. I'm currently viewing 2 options for my A2. I know you have some experience with the V-Strum 650, which is the other one I'm looking at, for an all-round commuter, long-distance weekend rides to a location. So I guess my actual question would be if you think city-going commuting is viable with the V-Strum, or is it too bulky? I'd miss being able to filter past everyone in the roadworks if I can't on it."
I filtered a GS 1200 out of London. You can get an SV650, a V-Strum 650 out. As for the CB500X, I have no connection, no way of getting Hondas at the moment. There is a garage I spoke to, a dealership I spoke to a while ago, but never got onto it. That was one of the things I was going to do this year, but obviously didn't because of COVID. So next year I want to get onto Honda and Kawasaki and all these other brands that I've not been able to get hold of. I am almost slightly surprised that I've never heard from any of these dealerships locally, like, hey, you know, but I'll have to approach them again and work it out. But I would always say to everyone, if you want to know what a bike's going to be like, test ride it. If you're honestly looking to buy one, they will give you one for a day to try out, so test ride it. Ryan Price, yes, Spicy and Reno. Okay. About a month ago, I purchased a Honda CRF 250L. It's been my dream bike for years and I absolutely love it. 2 quick questions. 1, where can I find out where to go green laning? There's a website called bywaymaps.something, or you could watch my video called like Green Laning 101 that tells you everything about green laning and where you can find them, so you just need that map. Also, Ordnance Survey maps. 2, after owning my bike for over a month and doing nearly 600 miles on her, I still don't have a name for her. Would you and Reno please do me the honour of naming my CRF 250L for me? Thanks. I don't know what it looks like. I don't think we can do that. Names naturally form if you're going to name it. Your bike hasn't really got a name. No. I just call it the Mino Machina. I honestly think that if you haven't got a name for it yet, don't force it, let it happen. But a fallback is Cecil.
4658 says, "Hey up Mr. and Mrs. Spicy, hope you are both doing well. If the 2 of you had the opportunity to move from the beauty that is Hayling Island, money and work no object, where in the UK would you choose and why? All the best, folks." I don't know. Somewhere nice.
few years ago, I would have said, I don't want to move anywhere. I like it here. But it's getting worse here because there's far too many people, and the thing that made it nice is starting to be depreciated to the point that it's just going to be another place. So, money no object, probably the Scilly Isles, something like that.
I don't even know where that is.
They're off Cornwall, so it's a bit like the miniature. So you get some very nice warm weather, and you get some nasty weather there too, but it's like really pretty little islands.
That sounds good.
So, there. Andrew Honey, where or are you going to resto on Divi? Done a video on that explains whether I am or I am not, and basically I am, I think. Well, not restore, but I'm going to do some work over the winter. But I'm obviously holding off while I can get bikes and do that sort of stuff.
Lee Jones, or Leah Jones, I'm not sure which, says, are there any interesting places to visit on Hayling with regards to tourism like hotels, camping or attractions? And have you used any, and do you recommend any, with the tourism industry in turmoil this year and summer is now over? It would be nice for anyone who likes to go abroad to consider a staycation next year.
I wouldn't suggest coming to Hayling, I'm afraid,
No.
as a holiday maker.
I wouldn't.
Unless you are happy to just walk up and down the beaches and stuff like that, then you might enjoy it. But honestly, there is very, very little to do here because the entire place is full of old people, and whenever anyone did anything fun, they got told to stop doing it, and now we have virtually no pubs and things like that. As for hotels, there's the Langstone Hotel. Obviously, I've not stayed in a hotel near here because there's absolutely no reason for me to stay in a hotel here. But the Langstone Hotel it's a good one, maybe not the cheapest, but I can't really think of any other ones in there.
I think the island's good for like a day visit.
Yeah.
Because there's a fun fair, you can go on some rides.
I'd say if you want to go to an island, go to the Isle of Wight.
Yes.
They also, if they're allowing
place.
people in though, because the whole COVID thing,
Yeah.
they're doing rather well, so they might be like, no. Anthony Butterworth, hi Spicy Reno, I've just passed my A licence, congratulations, and would like your opinions on a good 2-up bike. Basically any of the big adventure bikes. And a rule that I find is, if you can have extra power, like a 1200, it's brilliant. You can get away with smaller bikes. But yeah, generally the bigger the bike, the more space for both of you, the more power it has. Even the heavier it is, makes it kind of better as a 2-up bike. Very much depends on you and the person you're carrying and stuff like that. Obviously with me, I weigh probably nearly twice what you do. So I really dictate the bike. I don't know how that would work if someone was like closer to my weight or something like that.
Panda Copyright says, hi Spicy and Reno, been watching you since back when you had your crash on the Pulse. Sorry if it's been asked before. For a new rider with an A2 licence, would it be smarter to go for a bike that's in the A2 limits or get an A bike that's limited for the A2? Would it be best to get a similar bike that the person is learning on?
Forget that people have a habit of buying bikes that they learnt on, and that tends to, I think, is a bit of a mistake because they are designed to be easy for a new rider, which is great to start with, but then you might find very quickly that, oh, actually, I don't really like this. Is not very exciting. The Gladius is a good example. It's a great bike and that, but not the most exciting bike. And I know a lot of people who bought a Gladius. I'm not talking about Ginger, actually. I'm talking about some other people who bought a Gladius because they did their training on it. And I'm like, there are some really better options out there. And as for the whole A2 limit thing, whether you buy a bike under the limit or over the limit, simple answer, when are you going to upgrade? If you're not planning on upgrading in the next 5+ years, then CBR 500R, as an example of a bike that, like Reno's got, that doesn't need any restrictions, is a perfectly usable bike. And then a restricted MT-07 or something is also perfectly usable. But if you're planning to do the upgrade very soon, then I would say buy a bike that's restricted.
Yeah.
If you were looking to do it or not do it at all, or in the distant future, then I don't think you need to worry about it so much because you could always sell the bike and buy something closer to the time. That isn't also to say that you can't use an A2 bike or get a full A and use an A2 bike. I mean, I do. I had a full A and I bought a DRZ 400 the 7.
I think you'll know more when you do your A2 because I realised when I did my A2, I don't need anything bigger than a 500.
That's a good point.
I was like, well, I'll just get a 500 then.
The Bin is asking a question. Hi Spicy and Reno, how are you both? We are very good. I'm currently having trouble with my indicators on my Sprint ST 955i, i.e. they ain't working at all. I've checked the relay, fuse and connectors at each indicator and the bulbs and everything checks out, but they still don't work. Got any ideas of what I could check next? Get a multimeter and start working your way back down the line trying to find 12 volts. You said you've checked the relay, the fuse, the connectors. Yeah, you're going to have to get a multimeter out and chase it back, but I double checked that you checked the right fuse and all those sorts of things. I know you may have done, but I'm just saying, whenever I try to fix something and it doesn't, it's very weird that for some reason your indicators won't work at all. After you've checked all that, then I would say, well, the simplest answer is normally the right one, and it's probably possible that you've missed something that's obvious. But for all of them to not work, the switch maybe, it's all powered and the switch isn't working. Don't know. Multimeter.
Neil Blomfield says, hi Spicy and Reno, I hope you're both well and staying safe. Just invested in some new clobber and have gone down the Gore-Tex line. Just wondering what your thoughts are on this type of gear. Plus, as I have recently passed my Mod 2, I'm in the process of saving for a new bike. Thinking of getting a CB 1100. Do you think that it's a bit of a big jump from a 125 Lex Moto as my first big boys bike? Interested in your opinion, thank you.
I've never really used Gore-Tex stuff, but I would really like a full Gore-Tex suit for the winter.
Oh yeah.
In fact, I wouldn't mind one of the ones from Icon to see what they're like. Icon, I know you're not watching this, there's no point me asking, but I would like one, and maybe I'll get in contact with you for the winter, because I get soaked, and I'm getting sick of that. So Gore-Tex, I think, is a very good option, particularly in winter. Have you got any Gore-Tex stuff? You got your Gore-Tex trousers?
I don't think they're proper Gore-Tex, but they are textile. They're very similar. They're waterproofish. Yeah.
To you, wearing them is basically the same.
Yeah, they're good. They're warm as well.
Is getting a CB 1100 a bit of a jump from a 125? Yes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was. You shouldn't. It depends on you and what your personality's like. And if you can keep yourself from doing this a lot, then it should be absolutely fine. I just would say, why do you need 1100? I mean, I've got the full license. I could have bought anything, and I bought the biggest thing I have is a 6 because I find that 1000s are useless on the road these days. And it's just an added expense, an added cost to run a big bike that, well, if you're doing 30 on a big 1100 or 30 on a scooter, it's the same thing. But it all comes down to what you want, if you think you can control yourself. But yeah, yes and no. If your heart's set on it and you really love that bike and you can control yourself, well, then just do that. It'll be fine. Mark Buchanan. Hi Spicy and Reno. Before I got my licence, I had a Lex Moto Venom 125. And I have had so much problems, and now I'm having trouble selling it. The bike is seeing, as I passed my A2 now, have a CB 500X. The problem with the 125 is it's hard to start, and the EFI, and recently replaced the fuel pump, so I'm wondering if you have any solutions. Got plenty of fuel, spark, compression, so don't know. If you don't know, no worries, keep up the great work. Right, so it's not starting happily on EFI. I mean, if it's running perfectly fine, it could be, I think they've got like an auto choke or some sort that should kick in. It could be something to do with that. Honestly, I don't know exactly what that's going to be. What I would suggest is maybe speak to the Lex Moto owners group on Facebook. And I'm sure if it's a common issue, people there will know. That's the problem. I mean, I review them and I've had those bikes, but I never had an EFI Lex Moto ever owned. So I've only ever had review ones and they've never broken on me.
Robo Ninja 300 says, hey Spicy, hey Reno, I hope you're both doing well. I'm going for my DAS upgrade at the end of October, and I was just curious, what's your opinion on upgrading from the A2 to the DAS? A lot of people have said it's not fair they got to fork out for the course again, and some think it should only be a day course where you only do a Mod 2. But I'm just interested to hear on what your opinions are.
I've voiced these many times. I think the video is an A2 bike enough. I probably talk about it at length, but simply, it sucks, but I understand it, because going from a 48 brake horsepower bike to possibly a 200 brake horsepower bike is a very, very big difference. I don't think it should be so expensive. I think it could be a one-day assessment lesson, which is that you just go for a ride. Maybe it's a 3-hour ride, a variation of different things, and they just see what you're like. Because the truth is, you can ride 1000cc slowly, you know, and fake it, and then just blast it off when you get a bike, you know. So yeah, I have talked about it, but basically, yeah, I don't think you should have to fork out for Mod 1, Mod 2, and all of that. However, a lot of people say that doing Mod 1 and Mod 2 costs you £800 exactly what it cost you to do your A2. No, it doesn't, because you've been riding and you should be able to just go and do the tests. 1 day of training and just go and do the tests. It will cost you £400 or £500, well, probably about £300-400, depending on where you go. I spoke to an instructor about this and said, is it much cheaper to upgrade than it is to give it the first time? And he's like, of course it is. You don't need to do nearly as much. So I think it's unfair. I do understand the reason why it's done. Tricky. Andrew Spears, hi Spicy Reno. The rebuild series of Derek was successful and the review of the Zero FXS was interesting. Do you think in the future will be electric conversion for older type bikes when you eventually become too expensive for petrol power to make? Basically, do I think there's going to be conversions for normal bikes in the future? Yes, I actually think there are some very cool older bikes that you might not want to use the engine on, but you wouldn't mind using the frame, or the engine's not available because it's broken. You could convert it to an electric very easily. You just need to make sure the motor's sat in the right place, and then you've got to have the battery on it, and the frames aren't designed in a way to. So if we could have really condensed little batteries, yes, but I don't know yet.
Mayfesto says, "Hey Sprino, yeah, it sticks. Any ideas or tips on how to fix a lens from a camcorder like a Canon due to sparks hitting it? Something with an angle grinder and getting awesome shots. Ciao."
Yes, I have 3 filters which are my I don't care about destroying them filters. If you've got the sparks on the actual lens of the camera, so not a filter, I'm afraid they are there forever. You will never ever remove them. And if you do remove them, they will just leave a hole behind anyway, because they will melt into glass and they will melt into plastic. That's why I always use UV filters on the front of my cameras, always, for stuff like that. So I'm afraid, no. If they're on there, they're on there, and there's nothing you can do about it. Normally though, you should be fine, because when you focus past it, unless you're doing a macro shot, you will never see they're there. Maycrotch, hello Spicy in Reno. My question is, what is the strangest dream you've had recently? Mine is I was training to become a sumo wrestler, and I had grown my moves out. The only thing that stopped me from turning professional was that that's Mawashi, isn't it?
Yeah, Mawashi.
Was chafing my undercarriage really badly. It was really raw. You're an awesome pair. Cheese out. P.S. How do I get rid of these moves? Dieting generally.
Oh gosh, I have had some really strange dreams recently, but at this moment in time I don't know if I can recall.
I'm going through a weird thing where I don't really have dreams very often anymore. I used to get them very regularly, and now I don't. Well, I'm sure I dream, I just don't ever remember them. I think it's just because of how little sleep that I get that my brain just goes whomp into full out mode. If I have a lay-in, then I sometimes have dreams, but honestly I can't really tell you any weird ones because it's just not happening.
Spondig D says, "Hi Spicy and Reno, hope you are both well. Spicy, do you miss the Metalworks, or did it become a drag/boring like working in a factory? Reno, I know you speak Japanese. Have you ever been to Japan, and what is it you like about Japan?" I've never been to Japan. I would love to go one day in my life. I just find it a very interesting place. I like the culture. I think they seem very nice there. The food, basically everything about the place. I think a lot of it for you is the polite culture. Yes, I like the polite culture. I love the food. And the countryside in Japan is it's just so beautiful. I love it. I would love to, see something.
Do I miss the Metalworks? Yes and no. I would really love to be making sculptures, like, you know, have something I can work on continuously like that, but it was so much work for so little return because, you know, I was selling them at a very, very fair price. Even though I had a lot of people, you know, tell me, oh, you're all charging too much. I realised I should have charged a lot more the whole time. Not a lot more, but a bit more the whole time. But I'm happy that I did it, and it allowed me to learn a lot of skills. So it had its place, and I do want to do more, and I've got all the bits to do more, but it's going to be when I've got free time. And at the moment, free time doesn't exist because I'm constantly running around. So that's why I said if I do some more clocks, it'll probably be in the winter, because there'll be times that I can't ride because the weather's horrible, and I'll have more days. Although I still need to produce a lot of content because I have patrons to keep happy over the winter. It's a very difficult thing. But thankfully, there are other sorts of videos like I do on my second channel that I think they enjoy. But we're going to discuss that as to what things we could do over the winter time. I have a few fun ideas for videos, like making air-powered launchers of some sort. Edward Perkis, hi Spicy Reno, pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
I don't like pineapple, so I can't really join the debate of whether it should or shouldn't be on pizza. But what I used to do as a kid, I used to order pineapple pizza, take the pineapple off, and then have a ham pizza because no one sold ham pizza. They didn't want a pepperoni one.
That's okay. Now, most people on Discord know my opinion. This is Ed, we know why this is happening. This is because of the argument on Discord. If you're not a patron and you'd like to become a patron, you get to be able to be, you get videos early. It used to be 3 days, it's now more like a week, but minimum 3 days. You get to be part of this Q&A. You get to be part of the Discord. We're all on there chatting. It is an absolutely amazing group of friendly, weird, funny, caring people. I have to say, I know everyone says my subscribers are the best. My subscribers are the best. Particularly the smaller group we have on, as I say, on Discord, because it's kind of like the old days. But where we just, you know, smaller chunk laugh and that. But why was I saying about this? I don't mind it, but I'd never choose it. So the way I've always said is pineapple on pizza. If I'm at a buffet, Carol from accounts has eaten all the mini sausage rolls and all that's left is pizza, and it's pineapple and ham, I'll happily eat it. More so if it's cold. But if I was given the option of like, would you like this or any other pizza and I'm picking, I would never pick it.
Aaron Mutley Davis says, hi Spicy, hi Reno, which do you prefer, camping or B&B when travelling on bikes? Say around the UK, thank you and stay safe. I hope you are both well. I've never been in a B&B I've never travelled
on a bike. Have I ever sat to stay overnight somewhere for travelling? Can't think, but it wouldn't have been camping or in a B&B. Normally be with someone that I know.
I like camping.
I would rather use a B&B than camping myself if I was planning a trip.
Yeah, because you're...
I get the camping thing, and if you're in a really nice place and the temperature's really nice and stuff like that, yes. Otherwise, no. Just because you're going to have to carry so much more stuff with you.
Oh God, yeah.
Just to sleep when you could just get a B&B.
If you got a car, then...
Relentless UK, hello lady and gentlemen. Something possibly different for you. If there was a bag filled with 100 balls, 99 are blue and 1 is red, you can only pull 1 out at a time. The blue balls being worth 1 million each, but the red would mean instant death. How many would you pull out? Oh, I see. So you're basically saying that you have a 99% chance of getting £1 million, but obviously each time that you pull another one out, you're decreasing your odds of, or increasing your odds of getting the red one.
Can you see through the bag?
That's a good question. Can we look in the bag first?
Then you can just avoid it.
If someone said to you, here is, I don't know, it's a 100-shot revolver. Either you get £1 million or you die, even though there is like a 99% chance you're going to live, would you take that risk?
No.
For £1 million?
Because I get unlucky, so...
It's money. At the end of the day, money's...
That's it, yeah.
I wish we lived in a world there. I understand the problem. It would be very tempting, but I don't think I would know until I was in that situation. If I was on my own as a single person, a complete loner, I feel like I would take that risk maybe a couple of times. Maybe 5. But with family and connection and all that sort of stuff, no.
Alan Waters says, hi Spicy and Miss Reno. I have a question I've been pondering for weeks. If a tree falls in the woods and it lands on a bear shit, does it still make a noise? Probably a splat.
Would say define noise. Vibrations. A tree hitting the ground and vibrating the air is not a sound until it's converted by an ear, in my opinion. It is still a sound wave, but you can't say something sounds like a sound without hearing it, and only living things can hear it. So no, but also yes. Tommy Kearney, hi Spicy. I hope you and Reno are well. I recently took my Mod 2 twice and failed both times. I failed the first time for stopping at a bus stop when the examiner asked me to pull over. He couldn't get out of the junction behind me. And the second time was turning right from a left lane with no one on a one-way street. Happens, nerves do things. My riding is fine, but I seem to panic and do stupid things without thinking when the examiner is following me. I've been driving for 2 years, passed my car test and Mod 1 first time. I know how to use the roads. Do you have any tips? This is getting expensive. Yes. This is exactly the same as trying to do the turn in the road for the Mod 1. Many people get so nervous about it that they just put their foot down. Because you look at it as, oh my God, if I put my foot down, this is failed, it's all over. It's panic, anxiety. I would say, rather than when you do your third one, looking at it and going like, oh, I really hope that I'm going to pass this, but like, fuck it. If I don't pass, I don't pass. I can do this as many times as I like. I will pass. I know it's not cheap because Mod 2 is like 75 quid, I think. So, yeah. But honestly, you just need to calm down and relax.
Have like a reset point.
Also, don't feel... remember this. You are allowed to make mistakes as long as they are all safe.
Yeah.
Like, you know when they say follow signs, for instance, you can go the completely wrong way and get completely lost, to my understanding, but as long as you did it safely, you will still pass. They may bring you up and say, yeah, you probably want to pay attention to your signs, but as long as you're safe, that's what they're testing. So, also, what's another one someone suggested? Eat a banana. Apparently
a banana?
Yeah, apparently banana's good for anxiety. The potassium in it helps reduce... Oh. I mean, it might be a placebo effect, but, you know, believe in the banana. And if you can't eat bananas, we'll eat something else and believe in that.
Roger Palmer says, hi both, happy Halloween. So if I left my now manual cam chain tensioner clacking as it had been, would it cause damage? 51 plate DRZ.
If you have a manual chain tensioner and you don't maintain the tension, it can become loose, which can cause it to slacken faster, and if it gets loose enough, it could jump, and then you're in a situation where your engine's out of timing and valves and pistons meet. So, if it's making a noise, I would 100% say adjust it. All you have to do is, if you don't know, and if someone watching this doesn't know how you do this, I advise you watch videos on it first and don't just attempt it. But basically, you get the bike ticking over, you loosen all the locking things off, you turn it in till you hear the clacking, and then you turn it back out. Sorry, you turn it in or out, get rid of the clacking, then go slightly back. You don't want to make it too tight or too loose, but you want it to be on that point as long as you possibly can, so you do need to manually adjust it. I've only had to adjust mine maybe 2 times in the entire time I've had that bike with a manual chain tensioner on it, cam chain tensioner on it. Lee Bayliss, if it's not too late to comment, no, trust me, this was 7 days ago. I've still got a couple on there. I'm going to have to go on my phone and find a minute. If my son became a priest, do I call him son or father? I'm just reading the next one. James the Naked Snake. James the Naked Snake. Hey, Spicy and Rin, I hope you're both doing well. I don't know if I'm too late to this month's party. I thought the camera just did something then. Or not. No, you're not. You're not too late. I find when I go out for a ride, I can go out with the best of intentions, but after a short period of time, I want to go faster and faster. Not in an unsafe manner, of course, but I own an ER6F sports tourer, so it's not stupidly sporty or quick like a Panigale V4 or a S1000RR, but it's still a little bit sporty. With you having ridden lots of different bikes, do you find different styles of bike make you ride in a much different ways? Like some bikes you want to race about a bit, some make you want to be a bit more hooligan, some make you want to take it slow and chill, or would you say it's almost all down to the rider and nothing to do with the bike? I imagine myself it's half the rider and half the bike, but I've not tried any other more chill bikes to see if it's me or not. Keep up the great work. Beef out.
Beef out.
It's a really good question, actually, and I honestly think the truth is all of the above. For some people, a certain bike could make them just be a bit nutty. Maybe the DRZ's like that with me at times. Generally, though, I understand the wanting to... I mean, I don't ride dangerously or overly fast, but I always want to progress my skills. Particularly in the past couple of years, I've concentrated on line and cornering and stuff like that, and just trying to become more confident in cornering and so I think most of it is down to the rider. If you enjoy going fast, you'll enjoy going fast. But I do find that certain bikes don't like going really, really fast, and you ride them more chilled, like the Street Twin that I recently rode. Engine type has got something to do with this. But even then, as I said, the Street Twin, I was on the country roads, 60 mile an hour, very comfortable, get in the city, and suddenly it feels all leery. And that wasn't me, that was like the way that the bike did it, but then maybe it wouldn't do that to other people. So I think, yeah, it's a bit of everything.
Yeah.
Right, one last question. Tommy Kearney, edit. I got booked in after a cancellation and passed with 0 minors. Different examiner. It was much more thorough with what he said, as if he wanted me to pass. I'm chuffed. Your video helped me loads understand the best, what the test is like. Thank you. Hey, problem solved.
Yay.
Congratulations. And yes, I do find that...
if you've got a very chill examiner and you get a good friendship with them to start with, you'll be much more relaxed on your test.
My examiner was a bit of a knob. Didn't really want me to pass. He was annoyed about a few things, but unfortunately I didn't mess things up enough for him to actually be able to fail me.
Mine was very chill.
So you did better than me. But isn't it funny how having a different person or a different scenario
changes it?
I still think you should have a banana.
Have a banana.
Right. I think there was more questions added. The bin. Again. Hi Spicy in Reno. How are you? How are you both? My question is, what futuristic thing from sci-fi movie or book do you really wish existed right now? The replicator from Star Trek. Solves world hunger, so it massively reduces the cost of living. Sure, you can't make giant things with it, but I do think that.
You could have a lot of cheese biscuits.
You could just go cheese biscuit, and it's like, cheese biscuit, fresh.
And then you get one of those talking parrot things, the little toys, and you put it next to it, and then when it repeats it back, the little thing will record it and speak it out into the machine, and then it will get another one which causes it to speak again, and it will be an endless cycle of cheese biscuits.
What happens if you forget about this and you go on holiday?
Then your house becomes a cheese biscuit.
It becomes a cheap...
So, yes, it's overtaken by the biscuits of cheese.
What about you?
I don't know really. I'm trying to think. I'm sure there was something from a film we watched recently that I thought was cool.
I have a second one. The truth gun the what was it called? It's from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The gun that makes it's like sympathy, the empathy gun, where you shoot someone with it and then they see things from your perspective.
That's quite interesting. Yeah.
I think that could solve a lot of problems.
I naturally have that, I think. Oh, this isn't a sci-fi movie, but I think it would be really fun to have that remote control from Click.
What?
You can just pause people, mess things up, and then unpause it. It'd be really fun.
Yeah, but you don't want them to know that you're doing this, right?
Yes.
You want to watch from a distance, I'm assuming. You see, Reno, okay, has this thing that she really wants to throw things. Like, in a supermarket, she wants to throw them over the shelves because it would be so funny to be that person and just have, like, a tomato land next to you.
Yes, just imagine you are in, like, the shop and you're just walking, you had a normal day, and suddenly, out of nowhere, a tomato flies in front of you and lands and just splats in front of you. It would be hilarious.
She finds this extremely hilarious. We actually watched a video recently of someone in a pick your own cornfield, and they were like, yeet, no, yeet, and it was like, yeet, ow! Anyway, huge thanks to my Patreon supporters. If you want to become a member of Patreon and get all the benefits that go with it, link is in the description. Don't forget to leave your question for next month's Q&A. Apologies, they're getting a bit delayed and pushed around, but yeah, busy.
We are busy.
And whereas before, Reno was, when you were working from home, you had less work, you'd say. Now you've got a lot more work because your role slightly changed. So whereas before, like, she would always finish on time, she's now sometimes late, and like 3 times this week we plan to do it, and it's always been a bit. And I'm like, I'm not going to make you do the Q&A straight after we've eaten dinner, straight before you go back to bed. Right, go back to bed.
Go back to bed. Well, technically you do go back to bed.
You do. You always go back to bed.
Comfy bed.
Right. Bye-bye.
Bye.